Hey, it's Ralph, welcome to this week's update on my VR game. This week was much more eventful than last week. I had much more time to work on the game, thankfully. But I also had to figure out that much more time is not always beneficial, especially if you go into directions that don't work out how you imagined them. And this week was definitely one of these weeks where I had to figure this out, where I wanted to try out an idea and I just got to a point where it doesn't work anymore and I'm not sure how to go on from there. And it was really a struggle this week to go to a direction that I was not sure of anymore. And in the end, I hopefully learned something. I'm still not sure what, but let's talk a bit about that. So on a more practical side, I improved the physics of the game. I made the bouncy stuff and physics much more predictable, because before I used the Unity physics system, and the Unity physics system has a problem that it's sometimes a bit unpredictable, and you don't want that really in a game where it's really important to time your throws and to make the bounces really so that you can unlock the next waypoint and stuff like that. It really is important that the player does not feel like he's out of control. So I modified the Unity physics a bit and made sure I do set the velocities myself, and when the disc goes at the wall it reflects the disc according to my own system, because if you do the Unity bouncy stuff, it sometimes happens that you throw it at the wall and it doesn't really bounce, and I want to prevent that, so I had to rewrite all this kind of stuff. The other programming stuff I had to redo this week was the teleport and waypoint system. I also had to figure out that this kind of system is a bit too unflexible for certain mechanics I want to do. So for example, the mechanic where you throw a disc and it bounces against the trigger to unlock the next waypoint, you want to obviously evolve this kind of mechanic, because after a while it gets boring and you want to have a more flexible approach to this. So I had to do some programming and really make some kind of diagrams about flow states and stuff like that. And now I'm a bit more clearer how the programming works and how to make it so I can adapt it to new ideas. And because in the end you want to have a level design that don't just uses all the same kind of mechanic every time. You want to evolve the mechanics so the player does not get bored and is challenged new ways and new ideas every time he gets to a new challenge. Another programming thing I did this week was to do a snap turning feature that is used by a lot of games these days, and I am not a big fan of it, but during development it really helps to have this feature, so you can turn and you don't always have to stand up and look around. And for me it's just as a lazy developer, I don't want to stand up every time and to test out a new programming feature or a new programming improvement, and this really helps there. I also got myself a subscription for Substance Designer. It is like a standard program in AAA studios, and it really deserves that kind of popularity, because you can be much more flexible than, for example, with Photoshop. You can do procedural textures, and I'm looking really forward to what I can do with this program. But the main reason for me to work more on the visuals and still doubting my own path right now is the environment itself. I come to a point right now where I'm not sure how to take this. The main theme I had before for the game was natural versus unnatural. Where does the virtual reality begin and where does real reality end, or if you want to go it that way. And yeah, it's like a theme I want to explore more, and for this I had the idea of bringing the stuff I like sounds of my environment or sounds from the outside, from nature, bring that into the game. And right now this kind of framework of cyberspace I'm realizing is a bit limiting. Maybe I need to explore other themes, and maybe the idea of just being inside of cyberspace is limiting myself right now a bit too much, and I want to still be on a path of exploration and enjoying myself, just playing around with different visuals and ideas. And yeah, that's obviously a challenge if you want to release a game in 3 months. And I'm realizing now that for a game that has the ambition of having something that is a bit more experimental and challenging for myself and maybe for the players. So yeah, that's it for this week already. I hope that next week I will get more clarity. I have some ideas to get those creative juices flowing and experiment more, and hopefully I can say that next week I will be much more further with my view of the game. And this week was not the best week for me creatively, but these weeks also happen. So thank you for listening for this week. I hope you enjoy this channel. If you do, please subscribe to it, and we will see each other next week. Bye bye.